Just had a great writing session. Today's morning page is using Diamine Bilberry ink. It's gorgeous. Can't wait to use this outside next time it's decent weather. So I'm in a bit of a manic upswing at the moment. This is part of my sort of mental health condition, I think. I've come to understand that, I know everyone has good moods and bad moods and ups and downs and all of that, but mine seem to be a little higher and a little lower than, I don't know, than I would like them to be. Maybe I'm quite happy with them being like this, I don't know, but the point is that when I'm feeling like this, it feels like anything is possible and everything seems easy, and it's a good feeling. What I want to be aware of is the fact that there's another project I'm thinking about starting, which is a new podcast, which is not just for me, it's for the Provincial Grand Lodge and Grand Royal Arts chapter of Argyll and the Isles, because I've been listening to a podcast about Freemasonry that's been put out by the United Grand Lodge of England, and it's absolutely fascinating, and it's something I'd like to talk more about personally, because Freemasonry means a lot to me. And so I'm thinking about how great it would be to start a new podcast for the Provincial Grand region of Argyll and the Isles, and then thinking maybe expanding it a wee bit into Scotland as a whole, because Scotland Freemasonry is a bit different from England's Freemasonry. So I've put a message up on our Facebook group, which is where I found out about this new podcast that I've been listening to, and said, this would be great, why don't we do this? And I've had a couple of positive responses, and now I'm thinking, new project. But I know there's going to come a time when I'm like, my God, I've got so much to do, I'm overwhelmed, I'm burnt out, I just want to hide. And then what? Particularly because podcasting involves bringing other people in. It's going to be a bit boring if it's just me, although that's what I'm doing here, but you know what I mean. As a podcast that I'd quite like to grow and to put Freemasonry out there to a wider audience in Scotland, it needs to be engaging and good and fun, and that's where other people would come in. So ideally I would have at least one other co-host, don't know who that would be, and I would bring guests on every time, which I can do. I've got the skills and the equipment to do that. So I could travel. I will be travelling anyway, particularly given my sort of rising up the ranks, as it were. I'm going to be master of our local lodge in October for 2 years, so that's going to involve a lot of travelling and visiting and meeting people. And I'm moving up to Provincial Grand J in the Provincial Grand Royal Arts chapter of Argyll and the Isles, which is a huge honour. It's a 5-year post, and it's going to involve, again, loads of travelling, loads of meeting people, so I will be well placed to bring other people onto the show. I've got, as I say, I've got the equipment. I've got portable gear that I could just take with me and sit down with folk and just move the mic back and forth, or set a microphone in the middle. I don't know, I haven't thought that far ahead. But you can see here, I'm already finding ways to make this work. I'm talking myself into it. And what's on my mind now is, the idea of commitment, and how do I keep this going when my mood starts to dip. My morning pages has continued consistently for a long time now, which has been amazing. So that's become a habit. It's a consistent habit which reaps amazing mental health benefits every single day, sitting down, not knowing what I'm going to write, and then just seeing where it takes me. And this as well, this is a huge mental health boon for me to sit down and talk this out on camera and then post it, which seems a bit insane, but it works, it really helps me. So what I need to weigh up here is this a good idea? Is it a good use of my time? Is it a good thing for me to do for personal growth? Is it a good thing for me to do for Freemasonry as a wider institution? Because it helps me a lot in my personal growth and in my socialising as well. It's massive for that. So is it a great idea to do this when I'm up, build something, get the foundations laid, and then see where it takes me? Or is it something I'm going to regret when I'm faced with having to sit down with people and record? I tend to think it's a good thing. I think talking it out here, while admittedly I'm in a bit of an upswing, I'm trying to visualise what it will feel like when I'm in a downswing, and I can imagine, I'm still going to be committed to going to meetings. And much like with my pages in the mornings, what I find is that even though I might not feel like going to a meeting, because I'll be committed to going in the first place, I know that once I get there, the mood starts to lift. That's one of the beautiful things about it, is that I start to feel better. It gets me out of my own head and gets me into company, which is good. Human interaction, human connection. So if I'm committed to something, I do it. I'm quite good that way. I do honour commitment, and that's how I finished this morning's morning pages, with an acknowledgement that commitment's good for me in some senses, because I will follow it through, and it's usually good for me. It's much like going to AA meetings back in the day when I used to do that a lot more regularly. And my sponsor used to say to me, he said, whenever you're having that tribunal about going to a meeting, he says, just get that out of your head and just go. Just commit. Don't make it a decision you have to make. And that worked, because eventually I got to the place where not picking up a drink was, I wouldn't say easy, but achievable, even in pubs and clubs. Not clubs, I don't go to clubs. But I mean, in a Masonic environment where a lot of people do like to have a half after the meeting. And I'm quite comfortable now sitting with them, enjoying the crack, which again is massive for my personal growth. So the commitment angle's a good thing. That will get me going to the meetings I'm going to anyway, and then it's not too much of a stretch from there just to ask someone if they'd be up for sitting down, having a chat, particularly because they'll already know that this is happening, because it will be well publicised on the Facebook group and hopefully with a wider audience. So am I talking myself into this? I think I might be. And it'd be great for Freemasonry in Scotland particularly to try and encourage people to come in, because what I'm learning from the podcast I'm listening to now is a lot of people out there don't know what it is. Well, of course they don't, but they have preconceived ideas and all of that, which I would like to maybe turn around, and I don't know. I'm spitballing here, so I'll leave it there. I think I've talked myself into it. I'm not quite sure where I'll go from here. But yeah, I'll keep you posted, that's for sure. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye for now.